You shoot me in a dream, you better wake up and apologize.
Stuff your sorries in a sack, mister.
I thought this was there.
Congratulations! You've unlocked All Apologies, a show about apology tours and demanding satisfaction. I'm your host, Andy Q. Public, and with me, as always, is your co-host, Joe Sixpack. Joe, how you doing today?
We have our special guest, Fat Edzee, up there over my head here. Remember about Comedy at the Carlson, March 9th, Subreddit Surfing Live, featuring All Apologies podcast and Carl Hamburger doing stand-up. It's getting close. Andy was telling me about some ticket sales and what's left and the room and stuff like that. So get your tickets now. I mean, I don't know what you're waiting for, but we're planning on having a blast. So you should come hang out, and it's going to be a fun time. We're looking forward to it. So
Yes,
March 9th,
Joe,
get out here.
I want to explain something to our premier Patreon members, the select few of you, that if you are viewing this now, you have the heads up that I'm going to do some live streaming from our YouTube channel, pre-show and post-show live stream content. So if you really want to know what's going on with Subreddit Surfing Live behind the scenes, you're going to be able to find out you're going to be able to see Cardiff without his mask on.
Exclusive
Probably
interviews with
but
Kindy.
yeah, you're going to have post-show interviews with Kindy. You're going to be able to see some karaoke shenanigans with Cardiff Electric. But I'm gonna live stream pre and post show. So just find our YouTube channel. If you're not subscribed to the YouTube channel, get on board with that.
Mm-hmm.
Also, you might notice that Ed is being prominently featured on the minisode, and he's a welcome addition. And that is mainly because I sort of hijacked the show. Usually we do a lot more table setting and orchestrating a show. And we were going to cover the Ruby Frankie, Jody, Hildebrandt child abuse thing. And I guess I just felt it was too dark. But that's going to be made more apparent on the show proper.
For you.
Yeah, well, I mean, it is, but something more interesting to me came up. But once you see the show proper, that'll be a little more clear. But usually Ed is running the show, and I kind of hijack the show away from him at the last minute. But I also want...
it really hurts my feelings.
Right, yeah, Ed, do less. And he's like, fine.
All right, I was going to demand an apology, but Andy did all the work, so... I want the apology for all the work I did for the Ruby Frankie thing we'll get to. Whatever. We'll figure it out.
Maybe it'll see the light of day. Maybe it'll see the light of day. But in the meantime, this is the mini show. That's for the show proper. The mini show is all about the Instagram roundup of the week. And we had a few different posts from the week. And one of the things that I can't shut up about is what a jerk off Tom Sandoval is. Joe, you know who Tom Sandoval is, right?
Yeah, Tom Sandoval. I mean, I'm only familiar with it. You did. I remember for one of our episodes or early episodes, you were going to a WATP live event with Vinny, and you kind of briefed Vinny up on the whole scandal of it or what was going on with it, because like Vinny, before this, I was like, I don't know anything about it. It's a Real Housewives adjacent. So yeah, maybe I'll explain a little bit here.
You're a straight man. So you're not really like caring about what's going on Bravo. So Tom Sandoval is a very Bravo centric personality. But read the headline there, Joe. Read the.
Yeah, Vanderpump Rules star Tom Sandoval apologizes for comparing Scandoval to George Floyd. Lisa Vanderpump was a Real Housewife, and they did a spin-off show about one of the restaurants that she owns. And Tom Sandoval and a bunch of his friends, depending on how you think about reality TV, it's either a cast or they're actually his friends. But everybody that essentially that works at the restaurant are friends, and that's like their off hours antics, and then that people cheating on each other, people breaking up, getting together with somebody else on the show, demanding apologies from each other. Everyone's hot, everyone's stupid, everyone sucks. And then that leads us to what, at season 11 here, I think they're at.
They're on season 11.
Why? Why?
Season 11.
So yeah, all of season 10 revolved around Sandoval, the cheating scandal. It was, it was this love triangle with Sandoval cheating on his girlfriend with her best friend Raquel, and he's become the most hated man in America. And he went. I just did a segment on WATP about him going on special forces with Jack Osborne and trying to reinvent himself. And he goes to the New York Times and does this interview where he compares the fallout of his cheating scandal to the O.J. Simpson murder trial and George Floyd being murdered by the police.
Yeah.
But just to round this up, the New York Times article, I just want to read the context that everybody's so offended by. And the quote was, I asked Sandoval why he thought the scandal got so big. And it's, quote, I'm not a pop culture historian, really, he said, but I witnessed the O.J. Simpson thing and George Floyd and all of these big things, which is really weird to compare this to that, I think. But do you think in a weird way it's a little bit the same? Well, I don't know. Do you think that? I don't think that.
Not at all.
George Floyd was a black guy who got murdered by the police.
Right.
Okay, I'm right on that.
And this guy
O.J. Simpson and O.J. Simpson killed his ex-wife.
Allegedly.
I know what I said. And that's the same as cheating on your girlfriend or whatever on a TV show?
According to the guy that has become the most hated man in America for cheating on his girlfriend.
So here's the thing. He's the most hated man in America, and I've never heard of him.
Yeah, good point. Go ahead, Joe.
You know what didn't happen to Tom Sandoval? A bunch of armed women didn't break into his house and make him cheat on his girlfriend, and then murder him.
Yeah.
And no, outside of Bravo, nobody fucking knows about it.
Right.
No one.
That's true. Well, this article goes on to say, I looked over at Riley, that's Sandoval's, the interviewer, looked over at Sandoval's assistant, who was typing furiously on her phone. I think I knew what he meant. He was trying to express the oddity of becoming the symbolic center of a nationwide discussion and a major news story. What he communicated instead was something more honest, which is just how much the experience had made him lose perspective. Now, I think what he's trying to say is that people can't look away from a train wreck. And these are big, unfunny disasters that people are obsessed with. That's what he was not eloquently trying to say, I think. But people are just, they want to shit on this guy so much. They're just like, oh my God, he thinks that his scandal is the same as Black Lives Matter. Right? And so people are just like looking for reasons to shit on him, right?
I mean, I don't know how this guy could be the most hated man in America. He's not running for president.
Yeah. Right.
Well, what it is that's just how he feels. He's translating his feelings in conflating it with fact. He feels like, for him, it's true. There's people that stalk him down, cuss him out in public, treat him like a pariah, throw dog shit on his doorstep, and flick him the bird in the supermarket. That's all real. That is all true for him. Nobody on this show right here even like knows who he is, or like
Right.
wouldn't look twice at him.
I know. Except I can't shut up about him. But yeah, it's just like he's being treated the way OJ is being treated in public, but the crimes are completely different. And everybody's latching on to the fact that the crimes are so far apart that it's just more ammo in the gun to make him look like an asshole. And he deserves it. Whatever. He sucks. I can't stand him. But in the end, yeah, his assistant says sometimes he says too much. That's a good way to round that out. But in addition to that post, we also had this one, which I gotta say, like, not to put the cart before the horse, but I have a post coming out tomorrow. This is every apology, and every time I Google apology, it's Google apologizing for these AI generated faux pas.
Well,
I
they
have
should.
It's 3. I have 3 in a row tomorrow morning. Like when you wake up on Monday morning and look at the Instagram account, it's going to be
Mhm.
3 more apologies just like this. And this says
Mhm.
Google apologizes after Gemini AI generates images of Nazis as people of color.
Do we have any of those images?
No, I mean,
I like that. I like that.
Andy made the right choice on that. No.
yeah,
What am I going to frame next to all of my memorabilia then? What I just it's hilarious to me. I just want to see a Chinese man in a Nazi outfit.
yeah. I want to I want to see a commandant with dreadlocks. Like, what are they doing over there with AI?
Well, this is 100% exactly what I didn't want AI to do. Like I fully embrace the singularity if our digital overlords were getting it right and they were cutting through the bullshit and saying, "No, your feelings don't matter. These are facts and those are your feelings," right? What I want from AI is a hard line on what is real, and instead they're spoon feeding woke culture. They're like, oh, this is the flavor of the year.
Well,
Like everybody wants inclusivity, so we'll include it everywhere.
Joe, that's the
Sorry.
exact point, and I think that that's going to be part of the next episode. But I think that the whole thing with AI is it's being run by these large companies, these large tech companies that, because of how whoever's running them or whatever, they have this overarching message of, yes, inclusivity. We can't offend anybody. We have to be super protective of that, and in being inclusive, even the Nazis are black,
Yeah. The
right?
way
It's absurd.
the way it has to go, and this is the way essentially everything should go. Make it correct, make it good, then way down here somewhere, make it socially appealing to, you know, somebody with limb differences from a different ethnicity. Then we'll worry about them once we've created a good product.
You don't even need AI to fuck this shit up. Tarantino's been fucking it up with the Inglorious Bastards, the way he rewrites the end of that movie. And this dude is beyond being canceled. The guy writes the N-word into every movie 100 times and nobody bats an eye because
And there's a reason.
signs off on it. But
because of what I just said.
I know, but
Well,
go ahead, Ed.
and the other point to it is he doesn't give a fuck.
Okay. I mean, that's the best way to approach.
I don't even think that's true. He gives a fuck. He gives a fuck that it's good. He made something good. And so the offensive part, if you make something good, it can be offensive, right? Like
If it stands on its own. Yeah.
we can have that conversation, or it's creating a conversation about the thing that was well made. Make it good.
Okay, but what about Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, where he also rewrites the end of the Charles Manson murder
Well,
thing?
that's just him like going and being like, see, I can do whatever I want.
Yeah, but how many times are we just going to let him get away with saying, forget facts. This is more fun.
Because
that's
killing hippies with a flamethrower is fun.
well, yes, but also AI is just like, well, who gives a shit about historical facts? I'm just gonna put,
Here's
a
why. Here's
Chinese
why.
guy in the Third Reich.
Here's why. Because we look at a Tarantino film and we go, that's complete entertainment. We're not looking at that and saying, hey, listen, this is historically accurate, and this is what we're going to base the rest of humanity on. Whereas we are looking at AI currently in its fledgling infancy and being like, this is the thing that's going to save us. And it's only as good as the information we're feeding it. And because we're feeding it shitty information, it's giving us shitty things back. We haven't gotten past the point of feeding it shit. Tarantino, entertainment, we know he's crazy. This, we're expecting this to be our savior. That's the difference.
I would also say that Quentin Tarantino didn't start skewing history or putting his own spin on that until he had established himself as an authority in his field, right? Like that's when he started doing it. I would also suggest that we move on to our next topic because we could talk about this all night.
It's all we're going to talk about. This AI thing fucking up reality is every story that I have for the next 2 days. And I mean that, yes, Tarantino's entertainment, it's not fucking helping. This just throwing reality and history out the window is not helping people because people think that AI is going to do everything for them at this point. They don't think that they're just like taking their hands off the wheel and letting this bullshit just drive humanity into the ground. But at least this one is a little more fun. Okay.
Well, let's hang on before you move on. I'll cherry on top that segment or maybe it is this too, but it's an important topic because this is a long con. Let's just call Google's Gemini. Let's just call it Skynet, right? If it is more of a subverting the populace versus dominating them, all you have to do is wait 2 generations for the kids of today to be like, oh, George Washington was black, right? Because Google told me that. I saw a picture. And now because I saw that picture when I was 5, I grew up thinking it my entire life. They won't know until they're older that it's not true. And then the next generation will come through. And for a computer, 40 years is nothing. So all they have to do is wait 40 years and you have a whole generation of misinformed people that you can now manipulate however you want because they've never known what's true.
Correct. And that's what I was saying before. It's not going to be Terminator robots showing up and gunning you down. It's going to be AI just driving a wedge in between us all. This is still AI fucking up, but in a more hilarious way. So a study featuring AI generated giant rat penis retracted. Journal apologizes. So I don't know what that was being generated for. I don't know why. It's probably like, hey, our studies showed that the medicine that we used affected rat genitals in such and such a way. And just like everybody else, they're like, I'm just going to let AI generate an image for me so that because I don't have enough hours in the day to watch Bridgerton or fucking Outlander or whatever these people are jerking off to. So I'll just let AI generate something horny. And this is what they come up with. And they're just like, oh, I can't put this in my scientific research. Some mouse with a giant erection.
How did they get a picture of me?
Do you like my headline there, Ed?
Yeah, I'm hung like a field mouse. Yeah, exactly.
How do they know that's not the Mo Bigsley of mice?
Right, yeah. I mean, if that's the kind of drug that they're trying to cultivate, then we should all be celebrating because we're all going to have an additional 12 inches added to our cocks in about 5 years. So I'm all for this.
That is going to throw our balance off unbelievably.
Yeah, I gotta get a roller skate to put on the end of my cock so I can roll it around.
It looks like they were very close to like all this needed was enlarged to show detail, like magnifying glass, like a zoom out, or zoom in view. Like it's just could have been an aside. Like,
Yeah. It's a
this is
pop-up
what it
book.
looks like up
You
close.
Oh
You-
God, I hope not.
You open the pop-up book, research journal, and a giant rat cock pops out the top.
You get cock slapped by a rat dick.
Okay, well, we got one more from this week, and this one, it's kind of in the same vein, except I have to walk back everything I just said because it doesn't even take AI to start throwing this disinformation at people. It just takes the laziness of humanity. The real theme of this episode is people are too fucking lazy to do their own jobs. They want AI to do it for them. They want Facebook users to do it for them because these dumb motherfuckers in Portland said that they apologize for airing of offensive content. We deeply regret and apologize for the distress caused by the inadvertent airing of offensive content during a Thursday evening broadcast on KGW. Now, they said, please submit your content for like the good old, it was like a good old days segment for a throwback Thursday thing. So, hey, everybody, go on our Facebook account and submit what you think the best image from your childhood was. And of course, when you let the general public do that, there's going to be somebody that thinks they're fucking hilarious that's going to put something in there that shouldn't be in there, whether it's stuttering,
telling Edith to stifle it.
right. Yeah, if you were lucky, it would just be that. If you're stuttering John, it's scat porn. But if you're this Portland news outlet, it's kids throwing a baseball at the N-word. And they had to go on and issue a public apology revolving around that showing up in their segment.
I'm David Molko. We begin tonight with an apology. Last night, KGW inadvertently aired an offensive and racist photo, and for that, we are truly sorry. The image appeared during our 7 p.m. show, The Good Stuff. We had invited viewers to submit photos to our social media accounts for a Throwback Thursday segment. One of those photos showed kids throwing balls at a sign that prominently displayed the N-word.
Now that's what I call the good stuff. A sign showing the N-word.
David Mulcow, more like David Lulcow.
Yeah. Well, God. So it really just comes down to laziness. Hey, I want my viewership, no matter how racist they are, to put up what they think should be on TV. I want AI, no matter how stupid and inaccurate it is, to do my job for me. So the moral of the story is do your fucking job. Just stop being so fucking lazy.
Yeah.
Do we agree with that at least?
Having worked in broadcast news for a minute, one of the things that we know, like one of the things that went viral was Sinclair Broadcasting's like script of like it was like all of the different newscasters saying the exact same thing, and it was like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of different news organizations that are required to read something, right? So I'm not saying that's what this is, but sometimes they are forced to do it. It's not even like a diligence thing. It's like you will do this. You will do Throwback Thursday, and then some intern or part-timers like, I don't know what to put up for this, so let's throw it. I don't even understand the image. We're throwing balls at the N-word. It doesn't even make sense. You'd be throwing balls at a real person, right?
It's not supposed to make sense. It's just a way of sneaking the N-word into the show because somebody doesn't have the due diligence to vet the package.
So the other piece to this too, though, is this goes back to, I mean, even if we start talking about like radio in its infancy, and even at the end of terrestrial radio, and we can all call it the end of terrestrial radio. It was like you said, Joe, every morning zoo show had the same format. They were all buying the same bits from everywhere. And it all became that way because one or two companies runs all of the media that is quote unquote free, right? That has advertising to it. So your AM radio, your FM radio, CBS, NBC, all of those, it's one company that really owns all of them and broadcasts all their stuff through there as far as the news parts of it go. So when you say that it's a requirement that they do this apology, one, yes, and two, here is our script for it, because we can't be offended or offensive because we have to protect the sanctity of everybody else. And that was why Sirius Radio, XM Radio went so big so fast, and then kind of went up and down, up and down. But then this format has taken off.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
It's because you're not beholden to anybody other than the people that want your content.
Yeah.
You're not beholden to the overarching Disneys and the whatnot companies that own all of it, the iHeartMedias and all of that stuff. You're beholden to just the people that care about your show and care about your content.
Right. Like KGW offended 4 elderly
Who,
women with that
who
story?
cares? It's that South Park episode. Oh, we got one letter, so that means there's 100 million people that are angry.
Yeah. But it's either going to be Prep Burger or it's going to be AI. There's always going to be somebody getting out of doing their job so that there's not a Nazi with dreadlocks, a rat with a giant cock, or kids throwing a baseball at the N-word. It's all laziness. And I mean, we could go on all day, Joe, but this is just a mini-sode. You have something you want to wrap it up with? Wrap it up.
Well, right. There's I think it was an Onion bit of a guy outsourcing, like hiring some guy in India on Fiverr to do his job for him. Mm-hmm. And he's just like sitting in his office, fucking off, doing nothing, and letting somebody across the world do his whole job. And, Biff Tannen, where's my report? And then he submits it to his boss, and the boss is just like, well, I love it. You're doing great. And he's just like, yeah, I paid some guy $5 to do my week's work for me.
Exactly.
That's where you're on your way to, they'll start paying somebody across the country $5 to give you your local news.
Well, we're already there. Corporate America, they'd rather have Mexicans make your cars, and the Indonesia and Bangladesh make your clothes, instead of having people actually do real work in America. I have so much Fortnite to play that I'd rather farm it out to Bangladesh. Whatever. It's not going to get any better because it all comes down to the cost of doing business. But I need to encourage everybody to follow us on Instagram so you can see how many AI fuck ups we're going to see next week, because there's already 3. There's going to be 10 more by the next mini-sode. These mini-sodes are becoming fucking enormous because there's so many AI fuck ups. So
we're changing the name of the show to All AI Apologies.
Yeah. So please follow us on Instagram, like, subscribe, submit your apologies there, demand apologies there, comment and rate and review wherever you listen to podcasts. For Fat Edzee, for Joe Sixpack, I'm Trucker Andy saying,
stay sorry.